The carnivore lifestyle we are sharing is not run by dietitians or medical professionals. Everything discussed in this video forum is general in nature and is in no way medical advice. Speak to your medical professional to determine if this lifestyle is right for you, and do not start it if your physician or healthcare provider advises against it. Welcome to the Lion's Den. Chris and myself are going to talk about our journey in the carnivore lifestyle. We believe we are apex creatures and were never meant to graze.
All right. Hello, everybody. Yes, you're looking at carnivore people. Scary thought, isn't it? Another thing I wanted to show. A lot of times, last week and the week before, myself, Narelle, Chris, we're always talking. Then we're going to introduce you to this wonderful lady in 1 minute. But we always talk about different videos we've seen, and we're thinking of the title. So what I did earlier, a little while ago, that's why I'm late, I made a little video pointing out titles of videos that you can go see. So give me 1 second.
YouTube titles that focus on the positive impact of the carnivore lifestyle. Thriving on meat. How the carnivore diet transformed my health. More energy, less inflammation. The carnivore diet success story. Why I switched to the carnivore diet and never looked back. From brain fog to clarity. How the carnivore lifestyle changed my life. Eating only meat? Here's why it works for me. Carnivore diet. The surprising benefits you didn't expect. Goodbye carbs. Hello energy. How the carnivore diet can boost your day. Healing through meat. Real stories from carnivore diet converts. From struggles to strength. My journey on the carnivore lifestyle. Top 5 health benefits of going carnivore, and how it can work for you. The truth about the carnivore diet. What I wish I knew sooner. Eating for optimal health. How the carnivore lifestyle changed my life. Carnivore diet and mental clarity. My life-changing experience. Stronger, leaner, happier. The carnivore diet benefits uncovered. Exploring the carnivore lifestyle. Why meat only works for me. These titles emphasize transformation, clarity, and energy, focusing on how the carnivore diet might positively impact health and well-being.
Marty, can't hear you. Marty, unmute.
Okay, when you say it the first time, Marty can't hear you. Marty, unmute. Marty, call 911. Just calm the freak down. I'm only so fast.
I already was on 911 with you.
I'm 65 years old, man. You move a little slow. Anyway, God, you got me all shaky and go, Marty, go, Marty. All right, anyway, let's calm down. I had to mute because, fam. Anyway, I put that together because a lot of times you find other people saying stuff. And a lot of the titles of those videos are professional, like doctors or some type of medical people that did research on it. So it's because I don't want anybody to think I'm a doctor. No, I'm not. I can just tell you what it did for me. It saved my life. It changed my life completely. I can say that because it did it to me. I'm not telling you have to do it, but I'm just saying I did it. It changed my life, and I was extremely heavy and breathing problem and blood pressure medicine. All that is slowly disappearing. Anyway, I'm going to turn it over to Chris. So I want to say hello to Narelle and Miriam and Chris and myself. Anyway, I'll turn it over to Chris. And Chris, you be the grand poobah.
I'm the grand poobah. Well, welcome, my beautiful lady sisters. It's a pleasure to have you here. I've been excited, like a few of us actually have been talking about Mira. We've talked about her for the last couple of weeks. Let me introduce her a little bit. She is a retired registered nurse. She's 140. I'm kidding. She's at a great age. She's a lot of fun. We talk about a lot of things. She resided in Canada in her nursing career, and then now she is retired into the beautiful place of Mexico. I believe she did a little bit of work in and out of the USA, if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes I get things wrong. But what she's going to talk about today, we discussed this earlier, is about beginning how to get into carnivore and different ways to do it and her professional opinion on it. So I'm very, very excited to introduce Miriam Newmark. Miriam, unmute yourself. The floor is yours, young lady.
Hi. I don't see that. I don't need to unblock. Can you hear me? It doesn't show
Yeah,
that
we
I
can hear and
should
see you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for inviting me to this wonderful show. So where do I start? I have been on keto and carnivore for the almost 3 years now. Well, like 3 years ago, I started researching it. I was overweight, like so many of us have been, and I so I did some research on my own. Then I decided I'll try it. So I went personally. I found it easier first to go to the keto lifestyle, and then after I was on that for a while, I did try carnivore, but most recently, so it's worked for me. In all, in the last, well, 2.5 years, I've lost 50 pounds. And I have just recently reintroduced some carbs and some sugar into my diet. But may I just see if I can help explain, in my opinion, the best way to start, especially for women. Men are different. You know, they love their steak, and if they can eat just steak, they're happy. I don't like steak. So, but with keto, the key is really that you have to get into ketosis in order to get the body to switch from burning sugar and carbs. And carbs are sugars when they're metabolized in the body. So, cutting out those things initially and being a little bit strict is the key to switching your body's metabolism from carb and sugar burning to fat burning mode, because this is the main reason so many people are on it, although there are many benefits to being having the keto lifestyle. In my humble opinion, it's more than just weight loss. Just like Marty said, you got less brain fog, you've got energy, because the brain really thrives on high fat. So a ketogenic diet is really high good fats and very low carbs and sugars. And within about 3 days or so, you start burning up the sugar the glucose that is stored in your liver, so your body can switch into the fat burning mode. The real stop me whenever if you have a question or two, but because I might be a little bit all over the place. So the key is to get into fat burning mode. The beauty is, which I was always amazed once I found out that I could do this, was that you don't get hungry, which is an awesome thing, because then you can control when you eat and what you eat. So really, the other thing is you incorporate intermittent fasting, and I'll explain that to those that don't know anything about intermittent fasting. It's a major thing of how to specifically burn up the stored fat most of us have around the belly and in the internal fat. Sometimes you have a lot of it, even if when you don't see it, it's wrapped around your organs, which is why it's so unhealthy and raises blood pressure and causes type 2 diabetes and all. So actually, doing all this research in the last few years, I can honestly say, using my medical background as well, that following a ketogenic slash or carnivore diet will and does reverse type 2 diabetes. It helps lower blood pressure. It helps with mood and cleans out the liver. Yes, yes, Chris. And there's so many health benefits, and it even has been proven that it reverses dementia. But the key, of course, is we want to get well and we want to stay well. So incorporating a ketogenic diet is, I think, for women in particular, might be easier to start with, and because you can still eat certain things, and it's endless the things you can eat as long as it's high. Remember, high fat and reading labels. When you go shopping, if you're buying prepared food or sauces, always read labels, because it's that high corn syrup fructose that's been killing us, plus the seed oils that's put in all the, you know, big, big agriculture and big industries that make all these prepared foods are actually, they've been killing us for the last 50 years. So it's really a matter also of unlearning what we've been brainwashed to think is healthy, right, Marty? And Norel, and learning the new things. And it's so easy to, in my humble opinion, to educate yourself now because of the internet. As I mentioned to Chris, I highly recommend. It doesn't mean you can't start right away, but understanding how the ketogenic diet works is helpful, because you're going with knowledge. You move forward and you stick to it. I recommend. That's how I learned. Dr. Eric Berg's YouTube video on how to even start on a keto diet. Also, Dr. Ken Berry, a medical doctor, is awesome. I asked her to write that down, maybe, so I won't have to do any typing here. And also, so Dr. Berg is awesome, Dr. Eric Berg, and he has short videos, so it's easier to absorb some of the information. And he's been doing this for years online. And if you just go to his YouTube channel, you can pick and choose and maybe write in, for those that are just starting, how to, like the beginner's guide. Dr. Ken Berry, a medical doctor from Tennessee, he's awesome. And for carnivore diet, the doctor that taught me a lot was Dr. Anthony Chafee. He's an American doctor, young doctor who's living in Australia. Did you know that,
Yes,
Norel?
I do. He
Yeah,
lives in Western Australia. Yeah, I follow him quite a
yeah.
lot.
Isn't he awesome? Yeah, when I started following his teachings, that's when I decided, okay, I'll switch to carnivore. And I'm sort of using both now, but I'm like a good 2 years into it. So even when, and that doesn't mean you're depriving yourself to the point once you already get into ketosis. I want to just encourage others that it's not a punishment. You're taking charge of your health, and it's awesome if you can have other people in the family understand, and you get rid of all those terrible things that aren't good for us, from purchasing it and having it in the house as a as a as an easy way to jump right into eating something that's not really part of the diet,
Marion,
especially when you're.
sorry,
What's
sorry,
that?
I just want to
Oh,
I just want to cut in there because I want to ask you a question, if that's okay, guys.
sure.
You talked about
Yeah,
it's not a jail sentence. Like a lot of other diets, diets per se, feel like it's a jail sentence because you have to cut out so much. The thing is, what they're cutting out is what they shouldn't have anyway. And that's why they go into a semi sort of panic, or their body does, because they're not having the foods that they used to have, which is usually high sugared foods. Can you explain a little bit as to, what your day looks like and things like that? Because I think it's important what people hear in, how much you eat, or what you started with, and things like that. If you can expand on that a little bit. Thank you.
definitely. I'm glad you brought me back to something I want to cover. the intermittent fasting is really the key, in my humble opinion. And I'll give you a, for instance, I can't hear you. Wait a moment. Norel, I can't hear what you're saying right now.
It's
Shall I
okay.
just
You
continue?
go ahead. I can hear. We can hear you. Yes.
Oh, okay. Now, intermittent, I'll give you an example. Eating when we're sleeping, most of us are not eating. So you're fasting. So the key is you eat supper early, around 5, let's say, it's an example. You eat what you're allowed to eat as much as you want to eat. That could be your main meal of the day once you get in. And then you can drink herbal tea or have water and other things. That's not considered, that's allowed when you're fasting intermittently, I find, because sometimes you need to drink, as long as it's not alcohol or beer, right? Now, so at five, if you finish your meal at 5 p.m., you don't really, and then you go to bed around 9 or 10, ideally, and you're sleeping through. So from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m., you have fasted for 12 hours. That's like a revelation to most of us. Hey, that sounds good. So you're not going to eat breakfast at 5 a.m. So no matter when you wake up, unless you have to go out to an appointment and you can't be, or out to work, then you might want to eat breakfast early. But if not, then when you get up, you're busy, you drink some tea or maybe even plain coffee, and then you busy yourself, and then you. So let's say at the beginning you might have breakfast at 8 or at 9 a.m. See how you do, and then of course you're eating what ketogenic or a carb, which actually I was shocked initially where eggs, scrambled eggs and bacon is allowed on a carnivore and keto, and as much fat as you want. High fat does not make us fat, by the way. Fat stimulates the ketosis, which gets your body to burn the stored fat that's in us. So then you're having breakfast, or some people, once you get to the point where you're so busy, before you know it, hey, it's 11 o'clock. I guess I can have brunch, right? So you're having your noontime meal, and then again, last meal is around 5. Or even if you're going out and you have to eat later, that's okay, because you find as you get into it and you don't, and you find out the fact that, oh, I'm not hungry, I'll have a cup of tea, herbal tea, I'm big on herbal teas, or a cup of coffee, or water with some lemon in it. So, and then you go about whatever. If you're busy, it's great to, either do whatever you have to do, and then before you know it, you realize, hey, maybe it's time to eat something. So intermittent fasting is really easy to do once you understand what it's about, and it's not something that you can't go off if it's somebody's birthday or a family get together. You know what I mean? So you can go off and maybe have the cake normally you wouldn't eat, or a little extra because it's a family affair. But the next morning you go right back to what's healthy for you. Any questions? Or can I answer something else?
No, that's
No,
really
you're
good.
doing fantastic. Because,
Yeah.
like you said, Miriam, if you stop eating at night at 5 o'clock, you have your last meal, and you don't eat again till 11. 5 to 5 is 12. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You fasted 17 hours. That's
Exactly. And you know what? I find
that's
that's
right.
what I'm doing now,
Yeah, and the other
because
thing
I'm
that
not
you said that is
kind of
very
happy.
funny, what's really funny in this diet, in this lifestyle, I don't want to call it a diet. Diet's like quit, but uh sometimes you go and you're not hungry. Like I don't remember if I ate or didn't. Now some days I'm more hungry. I mean, I'm not kidding, but there's days that if I'm busy doing something, it's not like, oh, my stomach's growling. I don't. You don't have it. It's not like that. And the more you do it, that's why people say, I can't do it, man. I'm starving. Yeah, because your body's still craving sugar. Once you break through that wall, it gets easier and easier every day. So
Right.
yeah,
And
the
really, what
intermittent
makes
fast
us
is big.
hungry, what makes us hungry is the sugars. I mean, we grew up, have first thing in the morning, have a cup, a glass of orange juice. I mean, that sets us off right away, but we never
Oh,
knew
I know.
that, right?
I know.
So if you have the fatty, it takes longer. The bulletproof coffees, I used to have that all the time. The
Yep.
bullet, in case somebody doesn't know, you can put in butter, half a teaspoon or whatever, how much you want butter, cream. Sour
Heavy
cream is better
cream.
than
Oh man, I
delicious,
know.
and it's within our diet is not a bad word. Diet really, we've made it a bad word. It really means the food we eat. Okay, Chris, let's hear from you. What do you do these days?
I do everything that my doctor told me not to do.
Oh, please don't.
I've said it. I've listened to all of you. Literally, I wake up in the morning. I have 3 eggs. I have warm hot water with a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of can't think of the other thing. I have 3 hard-boiled eggs, like I said, and then about maybe 2 or 3 o'clock, I'll have. I used to have bacon. Now I switched it up to maybe a piece of beef, a little bit of beef, and then if I'm hungry, maybe at 7 or 8, 6 o'clock, I'll have another piece of beef or a steak, and then I don't eat all the way to the next morning. So, and I tell you what, I've dropped almost 40 pounds now. Uh, Maybe you don't notice on camera, but my clothes are falling off me. I'm getting into pants that I haven't been able to get to in a year. Uh, I feel better. When I wake up at 5 o'clock every morning without an alarm clock and the feet go on the floor, where before I had to roll because my belly was in the way. I'm just amazed. Every day I wake up, the results seem to be getting bigger and better, actually. I have a lot more
Right.
energy. I do.
You're
If
in
I'm,
ketosis.
yeah,
You're
what is
in
that?
ketosis.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
said
it's a weird thing.
ketosis.
When I first listened to Marty about it, I'm like, oh God, if I did that, I'd be starving. I was the guy that would go to Tim Hortons and buy 2 extra large coffees, 5 cream, 5 sugar. Oh yeah, give me some of those cream-filled donuts. Hey, throw me some of those bagels in there, and I would eat.
Right.
I mean, I love to eat, and now where I would go to a gas station to get gas, I'd buy a Snicker bar or a Reese's cup. I go into a gas station now and I'm kind of giving them all the fist that I don't want you. You ruined my life. I'm going to better myself. So it took a will for me. It took me a couple weeks to say, Chris, no sugar. I put the butter in my coffee. I put many natural spices in my coffee every morning. And I have probably 2 cups of coffee a day where I used to have 5 or 6. And that was with the creams and the sugars and all the bells and whistles that sugar is a very, very bad drug. I don't care what anyone says. It is
Chris,
destroyed. It has destroyed
It's
people's lives, their
it's
health.
it's killing people.
It is killing people. That's the truth.
Can
Now,
I,
people,
when you're finished, Chris, I just want to go through. I did some research today just to let
go
people know
around. Yeah.
about, what sugars are in stuff, because I think it is important. We think, oh, yeah, it's got some sugar in it. So what? It doesn't really matter. But I just want to go through some information that I got this morning to share here, just to tell you how many sugars. And I did it just for Australia and America. But you can be sure that anywhere else in the world that has this stuff is certainly got the same amount. So soft drinks, we all know Coca-Cola. I haven't had a soft drink. They call it here pop, soda, whatever you call it in America. I haven't had one for years and years and years and years and years because I knew it was bad back then. And being a type 2 diabetic diagnosed in 2004. But Australia and USA, so a normal can of Coca-Cola contains about 10 teaspoons of sugar. One can, 10 teaspoons. Commonly consumed in both of our countries, and it's notorious for their high sugar content. You want a hit? What do people go to? They go to something sugary because they need the hit, okay? Because their diet is usually crap, full of processed foods and things like that. So energy drinks, over here we have Red Bull, Monster. You would know those energy drinks, maybe not by name, but certainly called energy drinks. They contain 14 teaspoons of sugar, 14 teaspoons of sugar. Now, the energy drinks are packed with sugar to provide quick energy, which I know people, young people usually, that go for the quick hit, okay? Chocolate bars, Snickers, Mars, you talked about grabbing one of those in the service station, Chris. You know, they contain 7 teaspoons of sugar, you know, chocolate bar, and that's just one chocolate bar. They're high in sugar to enhance the sweetness and appeal. And we know that the supermarkets stock everything close to going through the checkouts. There's always chocolates, lollies, you know, things like that on the ends. Flavored yogurts. Now, this comes back to a lot of the people who think that they're eating healthy, right? So flavored yogurts, they'll say it's full of flavor, you know, it's got blueberries and strawberries and all this sort of stuff in it. Well, just one little serving of flavored yogurt can have 5 to 6 teaspoons of sugar. Now, they call it different names. They don't say, hey, this contains sugar, you know, it's fructose or the other one. So often marketed as healthy, flavored yogurts can be loaded with added sugars. And let me say, and I said this last time as well, when it says no sugar, no added sugar, it doesn't mean that there's no sugar in it. It's just that they didn't add any extra because it was sweet enough. Ice cream, this is a killer for a lot of people, but it's the addiction. Remember, you're addicted to these foods because of the sugar. Hi, Kenton. A single half a cup of premium ice cream can contain around 5 teaspoons of sugar. So you want to talk about sugar. It doesn't matter whether it's white, brown, or raw. Fruit juices. You spoke about getting up, having a fruit juice, which most people do because they think it's healthy. So a normal glass of orange juice contains 6 teaspoons of sugar. Wow. Even though it's natural sugar from fruit, it's still a high sugar drink without the fiber the whole fruit offers. So, you know, if you were eating fruit and stuff like that, you're not getting the fiber. We talked about that a long time ago. Breakfast cereals, and we know that these are marketed to the young people because they make them colorful. They make the cereal colorful. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's not that they're just putting the sugar in it. They're making it more advertising to the kids. So when the kids are walking down the aisle with mum and dad or mum, they want the colorful ones. So a typical 30 gram, they call it over here. So very small, 30 grams isn't a lot of cereal. Contains about 3 to 4 teaspoons of sugar, and many popular cereals are highly sweetened, especially those aimed at children. So donuts, Americans are known for their donut eating. Policemen, we hear, but everybody. Donuts, Australian, US, one regular glazed donut, so nothing real fancy, just glazed, contains 5 teaspoons of sugar. And donuts are high sugar treat commonly found in cafes and breakfast menus. And people think that it's fine because they're just having the plain one. Over here, the plain one is just wrapped in sugar. They dip it in sugar. Yeah. Candy, milkshakes, you know, another thing, milkshakes over here, they're called, not quite sure what you call them there. They contain 20 teaspoons of sugar. So for all those out there that are going, oh, yeah, but I don't have a lot of sugar. Well, you are, because you're addicted to it. And the next time you buy a yogurt or anything like that, that's why the guys recommend reading the back. You know, Mariam today talked about, you know, have a look at actually what goes into your foods, because you might not be actually putting a teaspoon of sugar into something. It's coming, right? And it's coming by teaspoonfuls, as you can see, just by small quantities of those things that we think or used. Well, I never thought they were healthy, but I was raised on a farm. But for those out there who think that they're eating healthy, what they're pushing onto you is bullshit. Sorry. And I have to say it like that because people get caught up in this whole diet, but they said it was fine. Well, it's not fine. Do your own research. That's why I talk about it each week, saying that, you know, the reason why you start this is because you're not healthy. You know, there's a saying that goes, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? okay? Because that's where most of you are sitting. You're sitting in that ditch of, oh my gosh, I can't do this. It's too hard. It's doing something different. I'm stuck in my box. I've been used to eating this way. I'm fine. You know, and how many of you get to 50, 60 and you're not fine? Okay, and we've all been there. I'm not pulling out anyone in particular. I was there too, you know. However, I had already started to do something about it because I was a type 2 diabetic. You know, I'm today less than 170 pounds. I don't talk that way normally. That's dirty talk to me. Kilos is our talking over here. We're not as far behind like America is. Anyway, just to liven it up. So, you know, I've lost almost 9 kilos, which is a lot of weight for me because I wasn't that much overweight. And I didn't do it just to lose weight. I did it because of my type 2 diabetes. I've reduced it right down. Honestly, I'm feeling the best. Yes, I have late nights. I have a lot of late nights, you know, for those out there who might be shift workers even. Nursing is a shift work type of position. You know, you're eating at different times of the day. You're not eating normally. And again, I come back to that because a lot of people think 3 meals a day, you know, and for diabetics, they say, you know, 5 to 6 meals a day, just make them smaller. You know, you've got to keep eating. I have 1 meal a day, honestly. And the other night I ate at 11 p.m. at night. I had to sleep the next day because I go to sleep at like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning every day. And so my times are different. Where Mariam's talking about having something at 5, I'm still fasting or intermittent fasting because I will sleep then. My body's always required sleep. I love sleep. I love my bed, you know. I don't like the alarm. And when I have to get up, but most mornings I just sleep till my body says it's time to get up now. And I'm refreshed. I feel good. It really has made a difference in my life. But I just wanted to share those sugar statistics and how much is in the food, because you really need to start looking at that now before that addiction is too hard to break. So you can
Absolutely. Thank you, Narelle. And another thing that's very important, you cannot camouflage sugar.
No.
You could call it low fat, you could call it carb, you could call it an orange, you can call it a grapefruit, you call it whatever you want. When it goes in your body doesn't care what you call it. It goes, uh-oh, here comes a clump of sugar. That's it. It doesn't know any different. And I, like Narelle said, people don't flip it over. When I first started on the, like Miriam said, I started with keto diet, okay? And I tried to stand under 30 grams of carbs. And because my wife shops, she went, she got back, she goes, look, this is really low sugar. I was scared as soon as she said it. I flipped it over to the carbs and it's 35 grams of carbs. I said, dang, I take a sip of this, I can't eat the rest of the day. I can't do any carbs. So it's the little things like that. Look, what killed me, I can't talk for other people, was the cravings. I grazed all day long. That's why I look like a cow. You graze like a cow, you will look like a cow. So, and you don't realize how much you do it. You walk by something, you see a peanut crumb, you see something here, you put it in your mouth. And what I did for 55, 60 years, 63 years, is I lived to eat. And all I did is switch it. Now I eat to live. I just made that switch. It's a lifestyle change. I don't feel like it's bad. I wish I knew about it 45 years ago. And I'll tell you what, the closest I ever got to it was in the 70s. I remember Atkins' diet. And he was a big protein guy. I think the only part he missed out on, and I think given time, he would have got it, was the high fat content, what the fat really does, good fat. And the other thing that made a big deal for me in my life is working in our business. I might have 50 tabs up, different stuff, and I'm working on multiple things at a time. And the clarity, if I wasn't a carnivore, I'm actually a lion diet. I do that once in a while. I can't even help it. No, but I'm just saying, because I do that, I can focus on many things at one time. Do I make mistakes? Yeah. But if I wasn't before, you got to focus maybe one or two things and you forget where you left off. The clarity is a big deal. It's a big, big deal for me. And breathing and how you sleep and all that. Like Chris said, I got to build an alarm clock. 6 o'clock, bang, I'm up, wide open. I'm not like, I mean, I'm wide awake. I'm going, darn it, I'm up, and I'm really up. So
let me say something real quick, and then I want to hand it back to Miriam because she's our special guest. If you love sugar and you like something that looks like this, and you want to carry around the rest of your life a little vial like this, and you want to stick it in your gut, your ass, your arm 5 times a day, then keep eating sugar, because that's what I did to myself. Now, I haven't taken this in 6 weeks now. My sugar is better than when I was on this junk. I'm sorry. I think Miriam will touch a little bit. Now, remember, this is my opinion, but my opinion is I saw what happened when I stopped taking sugar, and I saw what happened when I took myself, my opinion, off my insulin. I weaned myself off it. But I want Miriam to tell me a little bit about what she told me about a week ago, what insulin really is. But if you want to carry this around the rest of your life, go ahead, keep eating sugar. I'm telling you. Go ahead, Miriam.
Hi. Well, before I discuss the insulin, I just want to add, finding out most recently that dark chocolate is okay because it doesn't have, it's the dairy. So occasionally, and chocolate is high in magnesium, which is really good. So having some dark chocolate occasionally, anything like 75 or 80% cacao, is okay. Once you're already in ketosis, down, you've got to be a little bit more strict initially. But it's those regular milk chocolates that we see all over the place. Thing you go into 7-Eleven, you buy gas and you see it there. Been there, done that. You're buying that, right? You see chips, you buy it. So really, sugar itself is toxic, but the most toxic thing is the high corn syrup fructose because it is metabolized by the liver. Not ordinary sugar is metabolized by the insulin in the pancreas. So it's two different sugars in the body. And that is the high corn syrup fructose is what the food industry is killing everybody, the young, so many young people. I mean, obesity is an epidemic in North America and probably around the world also, but so much more in Canada, US, and even in Mexico. You see young people with bellies, which really ends up high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and the brain doesn't work well, all sorts of things. So it's really well worth, and getting back to insulin and type 2 diabetes. If anybody is on, and this is me saying this not because it's just my opinion, it's a up-to-date fact that no type 2 diabetic should be taking insulin. I wish I knew this 20 years ago, because it's not the fact that you don't need added insulin. Insulin is the body's storage hormone. And so if you're taking extra insulin, it's not, you develop type 2 diabetes because your body, not because your body doesn't have the insulin, but your cells have the inability to absorb. It doesn't get into the cells where it can be produced for energy. That's why fat is metabolized differently, and like healthy fats. Stay away from seed oils, they say now, and that's a fact. But many doctors and researchers are putting that out now. So I'm glad what you did, and it shows, Chris, because I saw one of your one of the videos, and your neck, we could hardly, right? You had so much storage of excess fat, and now soon we'll see an Adam's apple, right? Most men don't. You can't.
I got a ways to go. I do got a ways to go.
What?
I got a ways to go, but I got a ways to go. It's worth it. I still got a little bit of turkey gobble here. But that's what bothered me most. I didn't care if my body was fat, but it was this thing hanging that when I would walk and I don't want that.
Oh,
I
no.
don't think anybody wants that.
Everything, like you were saying, you don't even have to use a scale. If your clothes you normally wear, start needing to be taken in or held up with a safety pin, there's your guess what? I have that. So even before I had it, recently I got a scale so I can monitor it because I don't like the idea of losing weight too quickly. Like a pound a day is too much for me psychologically because I'm down to what I'd like to sort of stabilize in. But your clothes are the best. Now, once you get into ketosis, as both of you guys are, that's awesome. You know what I mean? So you're on your way, and later you can adjust things or special times like, Thanksgiving is coming and family get-togethers and there's Christmas. So have a good time with your family, but then the next day, like, don't overdo it, knowing what you know. And it's that high corn syrup fructose and the seed oils that they've put in all the prepared foods. That's what you have to stay away from. And I'm happy to report that lately, and of course, no carbs, which no bread, no pasta initially, right? And now a couple of the large bread companies have seen their sales diminish. Now I saw that in Florida also when I lived there. They write on their bread, no added high corn syrup fructose. So they're getting the message. Leave anything that has these toxins, leave on the counter. You'd be surprised. You look at the same thing I even noticed it on some of the brand name products from Walmart that a few years ago, I read labels, if it has any added sugar in it, and they keep it in even things like pickles. Who needs sugar in pickles? Well, if I saw that, I just didn't buy it. So staying away from those things that we've been brainwashed to be addicted to is an awesome way to incorporate and to teach others because the young really need that. They're such
And just to
so
jump in there again, sorry, Miriam, I just wanted to say that because it came up. You talk about, bread companies and things like that, no added corn syrup and stuff like that. Again, the words no added means that they're probably still using it. And watch the wording, because over here we have heart smart or heart tick, where everything with a heart tick you thought was great for your body, great for your heart. These things contain sugar. It was absolute crap. So just remember, people, when you're looking at stuff, if you go and follow Carnivore, you're eating real meat, okay? Whether it's red meat, chicken, fish, whether it's lamb, pork, whatever, you're eating bacon and eggs and butter. It's very, very easy. Our cooking time, when I say to my son, I'm going to start dinner, I need him out there in 5 minutes because it's going to be done. It's no thinking about it. It's whatever we're going to have, meat and whatever. I just wanted to bring that up because a lot of people who may start to read ingredients may not necessarily understand that no added actually means that it's still there. They just haven't added any extra.
Very good.
You're quite right. I totally agree with you. One thing on the carnivore diet, people say, oh, meat. It's actually when you stop buying all those sugary things and chips and breads and pasta that we've been doing for years, you'll be saving money in the long run.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
what
know. You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Definitely
Well,
saving.
Ladies, it's been an honor and a privilege to have you on. I'm going to give you a last word here in a second, but I want to tell you, yes, I love bread. Yes, I love lasagna. I love everything that everyone loves because that's what I was bred to do. But listen, I'll pass up great meals the rest of my life rather than do this and carry this around the rest of my life. So I'm going to give everyone their last say. Miriam, I'm going to let you go first.
Well, actually, I think I covered as much as I
did
needed. I hope I don't overwhelm anybody.
No, and you are welcome back, Miriam, every single week if you want. We'd like to have more conversation with you and anyone else out there that has some experience with what we're going through or what you're doing. We want to hear about it. This is real. This one is a absolute game changer for me, for Miriam, for Narelle, for Marty, and 1,000 million other people. Because if you go to those 3 doctors that Miriam, Marty, and Narelle have talked about, they have thousands and thousands of followers. People saying the same thing I did is, I got rid of this and I started eating healthy, no more sugar. You can see what Robin Noble put on the bottom. And I heard this years ago that if you just gave up soda pop or pop, whatever you call it, no matter what, she's got a higher number. It was, if you gave up drinking pop for a year, you'd lose 35 to 55 pounds just by giving up that lousy sugar that's in a can. I will drink water, lemon water, any day of the week because I know it's healthy for me. And I do miss some things that I love donuts. I could eat a whole dozen of donuts by myself in 10 minutes. But then I thought, this is what I think about. I don't want to be back in the hospital. I don't want to be stuck sticking myself with needles every day. This is something to think about. And this is why we're doing this, because we believe in this so much, because it's changed our lives and we want it to change yours. Miss Narelle, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Thank you. And sorry for butting in sometimes. It just comes to my mind. And
it was good butting.
I need to share it. But I want to thank you all. I want to thank you, Mariam. Thank you so much for sharing part of your journey today, because it is important that people see it from a medical side as well, even though you have retired now. I'm sure you keep up to date with what's happening in our world and in our food consumption. So I want to thank you for that. I also want to thank those who came in on the chat, those who are interested, those who are, looking at maybe taking their health to a different level. I think, do the research, go to those doctors, which have been mentioned by Mariam. They've been mentioned by us on many weeks, Dr. Chaffee, Dr. Berry, Dr. Eric Borg, Berg or Borg it is. But have a look at those, start there. All you got to do is type in YouTube. This is, Carnivore for beginners. Start there. And you'll go from different, there's so many out there. We come each week. Thank you, Chris and Marty, for holding this. I do have a carnivore channel as well called Carnivore Aussie Style. If you're interested in Australia, reach out. I do lives every week as well. Not come out of the cupboard yet with a few of my people on Facebook. But after I come back from Mimi's fundraiser, I'm coming out of the closet to say I'm carnivore. I wanted to show, I'm sort of like proof in the pudding type of girl. I like to be able to show the proof, and I'm certainly proof. I'm under 170 pounds this morning. I've lost almost 9 kilos. I'm feeling good. All you need to do is start, and don't take it as a diet per se, whether it's a right word, wrong word. I think when you put that in your head, it seems to think that you're going to starve yourself to death. You are not. You eat till you're full, and you can have whatever you like as long as it's carnivore. So thank you so much, Chris and Marty and Mariam. Thank you so much for being here today as well.
Thank you very much. I'm not giving Marty a last say. Miriam, it was a pleasure. Like I said, you're welcome back every week, especially with your expertise. Narelle, always a pleasure. You're always welcome back every week. Marty, I'll see you in 5 minutes because we got work to do. But we love everyone. And again, we're not doctors. Yeah, we do have a registered nurse on here, retired, but we want you to just check this out and try it out because it does work. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.